We're generating a massive volume of data. Data that has to be stored and replicated, so it's always available to meet our ever-demanding expectations. Data replication has become the popular choice to increase availability. Take triple replication. It works by replicating every byte of data 3 times and stores each copy on a separate node. One node goes down, just get your data from another node. But if all 3 nodes go down, which can and does happen, well, you're flat out of luck. Triple replication is also incredibly expensive because you need to buy 3 times the capacity of your original data. Wouldn't it be great if you could increase data availability while reducing capacity? That's where Erasure Code comes in. To keep it simple, Erasure Code uses a sophisticated algorithm to deconstruct your data along with additional parity bits, and then spreads the result across many nodes. The cool thing is that your data can be reconstructed even if many of those nodes go down at the same time. But the coolest thing about Erasure Code is that it only requires half the space of triple replication, let alone even more capacity savings versus higher replication factors, all while providing up to 11 nines of availability. How available is that exactly? It means you would expect your data to be unavailable less than 1 second every 3,000 years. So why isn't everyone using Erasure Code? Simple, the performance penalty. Traditional processors used for storage just don't have enough horsepower to perform the complex computations. And that's where we come in. We've designed new Intel architecture solutions for storage. And we've written and optimized Intel Intelligent Storage Acceleration Library, also known as ISA-L, for those solutions that make it easier for you to deploy Erasure Code while enjoying roughly 10 times more performance than traditional lookup table code. To find out how you can take advantage of Erasure Code, visit us on the web.
The world of sports is not right now balanced in terms of how much cost the business and your revenues. No, not balanced. You should think about it. Football and sports should be sustainable. These stadium revenues are over 150 million euros yearly basis. Every single year we are growing in terms of revenues, only the stadium. So that means that of course we have a stadium of 1947 with a lot of refurbishment, with a lot of investment, but the incomes we have, the revenues are incredible as well. So Real Madrid is not only a number 1 on pitch level, number 1, number 2, okay. It's as well number 1 in terms of numbers, in terms of revenues, in terms of sustainability. And we love that, because we are not wasting our money. When I arrived here, as a fan and as a professional, it was the same for me, because I saw what was here, nothing, no computers, tickets were manual, nobody knows about the access, nobody knows about nothing. It was really a miracle that nothing happens during matches, miracle. So I focus on say, okay, if we want to grow, we need to give some accurate steps. First step is control. I need to have the control of the situation. If I have the control, I can start providing services. And if I provide services and giving the guarantee that everything is under control, I can start making business. In 2000, you look into the composition of the mob, of the mass of spectators, the fans, 95% of those spectators are men between 35 and 45. Now, more than 45% of the spectators are children and women. That's really important. You know why? They spend more money. They spend more money. So, only giving the sensation of this is a safe building, you obtain the business. Only that, not making nothing else. Our profile in terms of sport means that you have a building with 82,000 spectators, you have to protect them, you have to entertain them, you have to give access, to give evacuation, to allow them to enjoy without any problem. That's the key, that's my role. Nothing can happen during the match. And that's really important, and it's really difficult to do. Technology is really the weapon to do that. Absolutely, 100%. I have to go, I think, to 2000 or 2001, when the relationship with Cisco started. I can remember the moment in which somebody from Cisco visited us, trying to explain us, we have a new concept. It's the convergent network. I remember that was the concept in the 2001. And we paid attention because the idea was fantastic for us at that moment. Actually, we were the fourth company here in Spain to adopt IP telephony. It's really strange, a football club adopting IP telephony. That sounds really, really strange. But the idea of a convergent network was fantastic because we can put any place, any service. So we say, that's what we need. So we started to construct a convergent network really, really huge for putting any service, any place. And that's the key. Audio, video, turnstiles, robots, everything under the network. Look, we have a lot of sites. We have shops, we have a training area, we have a stadium, another stadium, a basketball venue. It's in the network. Everything is in the network. We have all the servers are here in the stadium, and we serve all the places. So network is the key for us. Without the network, we cannot fulfill our expectations for sure.
I'm just wrapping up at the office and I'm heading out on business. I've got a brand new Intel Atom powered tablet and we'll show you how new features in Windows 8.1 can help personal tablets fit in with your primary PC and your smartphone to keep you productive no matter where you are. All the setup will be done by me, the user, since it's my personal tablet. IT does not have to touch it. You will see how I access corporate resources without a direct connection to the corporate network, such as VPN. My first step with this tablet is an easy one. I'm going to enroll in my company's BYOD program using one of the powerful new features in Windows 8.1, Workplace Join. One hassle of accessing information from outside the corporate internet is having to enter credentials all the time. Workplace Join can really streamline the experience when I log onto my corporate internet from outside. To take advantage of this feature, I'll first associate my tablet to the corporate network using Workplace Join. This is not a direct connection. The instructions for doing so are right here on my phone in this email. So first thing I have to do is toggle the Charms menu, go to Settings, change PC settings, click on Network, go to Workplace, have to enter my corporate email address, and click Join to join the corporate network. Have to enter my password, click Sign In. Now my tablet is enrolling in Workplace Join. Setting up Workplace Join also enrolls my tablet with my company's MDM solution, in this case AirWatch, which simplifies this step for me as well. I stay in the same Workplace menu. I turn on device management, connecting to the workplace. I enter my group ID. Next. Enter my username and password, which is my corporate email, my corporate password. So I agree to let IT manage my tablet. It's connecting to the workplace and enrolling with MDM. While enrolling in MDM, the mobile policy automatically configured my device's corporate Wi-Fi settings so that I don't have to manually enter the SSID or the password. And as you can see in my network settings, it has done just that. Now I can easily and automatically connect to my office Wi-Fi with this tablet if I need to. Another thing to notice is that my company's mobile policy has automatically created shortcuts in my start screen so that I can access things like SharePoint now that my device is enrolled with Workplace Join and DareWatch. I'm still outside the corporate intranet and want to navigate to an internal website. This connection is made through the Web Application Proxy, a new feature in Windows Server 2012 R2. It will still direct me to authenticate for the first time with Active Directory Federation services. I want to navigate to my internal SharePoint site using the icon on my start screen, and I will have to enter my domain account credentials only one time and my domain password. I'll sign in, and there it is, my internal SharePoint site. Now I can close the browser or restart my tablet, and I can go right back in without having to re-authenticate. For security, IT can make Workplace Join a requirement for any device that's going to access internal websites from outside the corporate intranet. Now that my tablet is enrolled with IT, I want to start accessing my email, calendar, and contacts. So the first thing I have to do is enter my Exchange account information in the native Mail app. Now I click Connect. Now the Mail app is syncing my email, calendar, and contacts. And here it is, populated locally on my tablet. I can also easily open attachments, even those that are protected by corporate access policies. For example, this slide presentation is protected using Active Directory Rights Management Service. I can open it directly in PowerPoint. Another great productivity feature in Windows 8.1 is work folders, which let me sync all of my Windows-based devices to a centralized file share on the company network. This means I no longer have to email myself documents or copy them to a USB drive in order to work on them when I'm out of the office. This is more convenient for me and more secure. Now we'll show you how to set up work folders. First, go to the Control Panel, go to System and Security, Manage Work Folders, Set up Work Folders. I will enter my domain credentials. I'll select the default location, click on Next, accept all these policies, set up work folders. Work folders is being set up. Work folders have started syncing with my PC. And there are my work folders synchronized. Right before I left the office, I created a document on my primary PC. I protected the file with rights management and emailed it to myself, which is how I would have normally synced my files before Windows 8.1. But now that I have work folders, I can access the file right here, and I can open it. I have to authenticate to ADRMS. I will enter my domain credentials. So now I'm authenticating to Active Directory Rights Management Service. There's my sales proposal. I can even edit it. Proposal for growth. Now I can save it. And now my changes will be synced back to my primary PC at work, and I didn't have to use a third-party service like Dropbox in order to do that. I now see a calendar reminder that I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I'll click on the link to the SharePoint site in the meeting request. Because I'm Workplace joined, I'll go straight to SharePoint from my tablet without having to enter my credentials again. I can download the PowerPoint presentation from the meeting right here. Say yes to open it. I'll enter my domain password again. apparently this document is rights protected, so I cannot even open it. I can join the meeting through link directly from my tablet. I click on the link to the meeting in the meeting reminder and I'm in. The meeting presenter is sharing the document that I couldn't edit earlier. But she has given me control, and now I can edit the document and make changes that everyone can see, just like I would from my primary PC. Make this little change here. I'll click save. And now I can also take notes and do multitasking using OneNote. So this shows how I can take productivity to whole new levels using OneNote and Link on my tablet. Workplace join and work folders in Windows 8.1 enable some powerful productivity capabilities for Intel Atom-based companion tablets running Windows. They enable me to be more productive using my tablet in addition to my primary PC. I can securely and easily access corporate data from outside the corporate intranet and collaborate with coworkers. These features also streamline enrolling new devices with no direct involvement from IT. And because my tablet is running Windows and Microsoft Office, I can be productive on this tablet in ways I simply can't with non-Windows tablets. Now I can really take the PC experience on the go. Explore for yourself these features in Windows 8.1.
Hi Jim, sorry about the wait. What's on your mind?
Hey Eduardo. Well, I have some coworkers that are really wanting us to buy some of the latest consumer tablets, but I want to make sure that we're carefully thinking about our decision.
And that's a great idea. What kind of apps are you guys thinking to run on those tablets?
Mostly Windows apps like Microsoft Office and some custom Windows software that's been developed specifically for us. And I understand that consumer tablets can run those?
Well, it depends what you call by running those Windows apps. Consumer-based devices, they cannot run Windows applications natively. They rely on desktop virtualization, which means all the applications runs in the server side, which makes those fancy consumer products actually dumb terminals. And there's some additional drawbacks. You're going to compromise responsiveness as well as user experience, and that's a huge thing. You're going to slam your data center, both server and network. And you're going to have to work totally online. There's no way you can work offline.
Well, I'm sure those are some compromises they really didn't consider.
Well, that's understandable. They are very excited to bring those new form factors to their workplace. Just an example that I want to show you. We have a regular PC with Microsoft Office, and if you see here, some of the slides, they seem natural, they seem correct, and if we go through, it looks pretty nice, but suddenly we have a formatting problem, and that truly compromises productivity.
Is there any way around that?
Well, Intel has released their Atom-based products, which allows you to run native Windows applications on those tablets. And also, you're able to manage and secure those devices, just like you do with any other PC in your company.
Oh, thanks, Eduardo. I definitely need to have a conversation with my coworkers about this interoperability.
No problem.
Have you hugged your firewall today? It may not be getting the respect it deserves. I mean, who better represents the unsung hero of networking? Well, it's got to be the lonely firewall. I mean, working 24/7 by 365, and for what? It gets grief from users for blocking too much. It gets slammed by IT admins for not blocking enough. Even applications beat it up for being too slow. But those days are over. There's a new sheriff in town, and they call it the 5585X. The Cisco ASA 5585X is one of our high-performance firewalls. It's a family of peacekeepers. The other two are the ASA Services Module for the 6500 and the ASA 1000V firewall for the cloud. You see, we listen to your complaints. Sound familiar? With over 15 years of experience and millions of firewalls deployed, we are constantly re-engineering these things, not just to keep up, but to lead today's security requirements. In fact, there's no better example than what we call multi-scale performance, the highest performance density per rack unit in the industry. Now, before we start throwing numbers around, certainly a favorite pastime for firewall vendors if there ever was one, let's level the playing field. What do we see out there for firewall pomposity? Speeds and feeds, 30 gigabits of throughput. Sure, bits per second metrics are important to data sheet writers and rookies. In the data center, we also need to look at things like transactions per second and latency, stuff that affects the user experience. Watch this. The simple act of opening our Facebook page, don't forget to friend us, results in 22 connections open to 8 different hosts, downloading over 54 HTTP objects in less than 4 seconds. Do the math. If your firewall supports 8,000 sessions, we just maxed out your firewall capacity with only 2,000 Facebook users. Don't blame Facebook, that's just how the web works. But think about your business apps. Think they might be opening a few threads? You better believe it. Bits per second, BPS, just doesn't have the clout that it once had. But this is what multi-scale is all about. Real performance, a number that matters at a realistic cost, in a small form factor. Still want the numbers? Okay. But instead of the old marketing math, giving you the performance of our biggest box rolling down a steep hill with the wind at its back, let's look at the product range. Performance all comes down to which security services processor you use. For example, you get the 5585X chassis, then you just add performance. Slide in an SSP10, you'll get 2 gig of multi-protocol throughput, 1 million concurrent connections, and 1 gig of VPN throughput. Still need more performance? Okay. We'll slide in an SSP60 and you'll get 20 gig of multi-protocol throughput, 10 million concurrent connections, and 5 gig of VPN throughput. Good eye. That's your intrusion prevention system, or your SSP. Now, unlike most security providers that force you to choose between a high-quality firewall or an effective IPS, we combine the world's most powerful firewall with the most intelligent IPS right there. You can drop any of our high-end firewalls into your network, and it's going to enhance your design by peering with your existing equipment. For example, tie in the 5585X with your ISE, your Identity Services Engine, and now you're enforcing individual and group policies across your network. No, you don't have to have a PhD to manage our firewalls. Features like packet trace and tracker, as well as your normal day-to-day stuff, those can be easily managed with Cisco Security Manager, or from the CLI for all you command line commandos out there. With all these great features and scalability, it's easy to see why the 5585X, the ASA Services Module, and the ASA 1000V firewall are the mission-critical choice for mission-critical data centers that require exceptional flexibility and security. It's superior performance spanning multiple platforms, technologies, and deployment scenarios without any of those games or magic numbers. Check out this link for more.
The interesting thing about the smart city to me is that we're going to be able to control and monitor everything in the city, from both the obvious things like traffic and making the policemen more efficient and the firemen more efficient, but also we're going to get into smart devices, so that in a smart city you're going to have smart homes. So we're going to have refrigerators and air conditioning and curtains, and all these things will all operate as part of Smart City 2. So what interests me is there's the sort of business and industry side of Smart City, and there's the personal side of Smart City 2. We were the first to do 4G in 3.5 gigahertz. We weren't the first to do 4G. So we are obviously very pleased to be the first, and we are able to do that by working with Huawei, who've developed the equipment for it. We have bands 42 and 43 of the LTE bands, which are the 3.5 bands. We're currently building in central London, so starting our network build in central London. We're then going to do all the other big cities in the UK, and we're also going to focus on specialist solutions like airports, like Heathrow Airport that we're doing, and also on the railways, and in other places we think particularly ELTE would be very useful. So big cities, but also other places where ELTE would be useful. So Tetra works very well. It's a very good technology, but it really only does voice. So and for smart cities, to be honest, voice is only a small part of what we need. We basically need data. And in the future world, voice is going to be data too. So in LTE, voice is data. So what we need, in effect, are really good data networks. Tetra can't do that. So we have to base the networks of the future on LTE. And what ELTE does is it allows us to do smart things on top of the basic LTE to make them specifically useful for specialist applications. We're very comfortable with the technology, so 4G works well, and ELTE works well. We can see that, some good examples in China. The only question for us is to make sure it works well on our frequencies. So that's where we've been working closely with Huawei to make sure it can also work in our frequencies. But we have absolute confidence that that 4G is a great technology, and so is ELTE. What we're doing at the moment, to be honest, the most exciting thing we're doing is this ELTE trial in London, because we know from our trial of 4G that 4G works well. So we're confident that when we launch in London with our ordinary service, it will be fine. But what's really exciting is the ELTE experiment in London now, because we've just started it, and the police and everyone are coming to look at it, and they're all very excited about it, because they really think this is the solution to the future after Tetra. So that, at the moment, is the most exciting thing we're doing.